going back to that though, can you really blame Trump for inciting that action?
Yeah,
And
of course.
I can't.
Trump sent people to the Capitol to protest the peaceful transfer of power. If there was
Did he
anything that I
say
could
storm the Capitol?
Did he say storm the Capitol? No, but he said we need to go back to the Capitol. We can't let them steal our election. That we hope that Pence does the right thing. And then later he tweeted out that Pence failed us. That's why everybody's outside screaming, hang Pence, hang Pence. He said we need to fight like hell to keep our government. We've been fighting like one boxer with a hand tied behind his back. Like, I mean, what are we going to the Capitol to protest? The only thing happening is the certification of the vote. What else is there to protest there besides the government process of certification of the election? The vote had already happened. We're going to lose our country, I think is a quote. Fighter, we're going to lose our country.
Yes, that was, yeah, I remember that. I remember that one. Yep.
So what does that mean? So are you just going to go hold up a picket sign while you lose your country?
Well, I mean, that's the democratic process, isn't it? Go hold up a picket sign. And I think that people, look, I think part of it is that the J6 stuff came after the Summer of Love, right? Where, as you know, it was extremely violent, quote unquote, protests where people did just break shit down. They broke into buildings, they broke into stores, they just ransacked everything. I think that it was the political climate at the time, and the existing, still probably extant political climate, that has made people believe incorrectly that is a legitimate form of protest, is to
let's say that Trump didn't want a riot there. Okay, let's go with that. If that was the case, then why is it that when so many people went into the office begging him to send in the National Guard earlier, why didn't he respond?
He f***ed that up hardcore.
No, he didn't f*** it up. It was intentional. Why is it that when they begged him to tweet and send people home, why didn't he do that? Why did he just ignore people? Even after
he did tell people. He said he did at one point say to go home, though.
Yeah, an hour after Ashley Babbitt had been shot, 3 hours after the riot had begun, and after him, Giuliani, and Eastman had made numerous phone calls to congressmen and senators saying, like, hey, maybe you should delay the election. Hey, maybe you should actually slow things down. Doesn't that seem like he kind of wanted the riot to happen, and he was waiting to try to capitalize on it?
Did Trump want something to happen? Absolutely. That's unquestionable. Trump wanted, because he's a narcissist.
No. Hold on. Not just a narcissist. He was an un-American attempted coup president. He tried to coup the government. He wasn't just being a narcissist. Okay, what is it called if you try to subvert the peaceful transfer of power using non-democratic means?
Well, then what would have been called when they accused Trump of being legitimately elected in 2016 because of Russian hackers?
That's your First Amendment right to say Trump was unelected.
But yeah, you can say whatever you want. I'm saying, like...
No, hold on. You can't say whatever you want. You can't incite a riot. That's against the law. It's illegal to do that.
Inciting a riot is against the law, but Trump never said to go and riot.
You don't have to say go and riot. The qualifications for that to be a crime, no, you don't, is you have to send people to an area with the intent of them going to riot. That's what makes it incitement to...
But when you say specifically, which is his exact quote, is peacefully protest. He said the word peacefully.
Peaceful is one word out of an hour-long speech. The rest of that speech is littered with... I think
you're going to be really difficult to prove that in a court of law.
No, it's super not difficult at all.
Well, then why has it not been proven yet? After two indictments.
Trump is indicted in 2 huge cases. The impeachments were not the criminal proceedings that Jack Smith or the Georgia RICO case are looking at. Mm-hmm. These are... We'll find out, I guess, in the Jack Smith case.
The RICO case will be the interesting one, I think. That'll be the one to actually really pay attention to, because the RICO case would be the one that probably has the most merit behind it.
I think the Jack Smith case is really strong, and the Florida case is dead to rights. Trump is losing that one 10 out of 10 times. The Mar-a-Lago confidential information case, he's completely dead on that one.
Oh, yeah. There's some stuff in there that's pretty... I just don't... I think that it's incidental more than intentional. And I think you have to prove intent.
Well, that's to charge a riot, I agree. But keep in mind, he's not looking at a riot charge. Right? That's not what he's being charged with, right? He's being charged with trying to defraud the American people by subverting their constitutional rights to have a vote and obstructing a government process, which he absolutely did. And I think we can point to everything around that. He obviously wanted to obstruct the certification of the vote. That's why he sent the rioters down there. That's why he told them to fight like hell. That's why he was tweeting at Pence. That's why he watched it unfold on TV. Ashley Babbitt got shot. He didn't tell anybody to go home. He didn't call in the National Guard. He just sat there and watched it unfold. And all he did was he made calls with Giuliani and Eastman at that time, begging, senators and people in Congress to
which
stop.
was fucked up of him.
No, that's not fucked up. It was an attempt to coup the government. It wasn't just up. It was all intentional. It was all an attempt to coup the government.
I think that both people on the left and the right, or wherever you fall on the political spectrum, have a tendency to think Trump is way smarter than he actually is.
It's not about being smart. It's just, what is he doing? None of this is smart.
I don't think he was playing 4D chess at this point.
No one is saying he's playing 4D chess. He sent rioters to the Capitol, and he tried to make phone calls, and he asked Pence to change the vote. There's nothing smart about that. You don't have to be a sophisticated actor to do this.
The idea that he was sitting on this, that you were saying that he was sitting on it, he knew about all this, and he was sitting on it and just waiting for
No, when I say sitting, I mean he was sitting in his room, drinking a Diet Coke, watching it unfold on TV.
Yeah, and eating McDonald's. Yeah, but I don't know if he was... I think he was reacting, because that's how people
If he was reacting, why wouldn't his reaction be, oh, I'm the person that deploys the National Guard to D.C. Maybe I need to call and find out why that's not happening, as all these people are begging him, Ivanka and Kushner and Meadows and his council and all these other people are calling him. I think McCarthy, calls him, and he's like, hey, like, what's going on here? And Trump's like, I guess the protesters are more mad than you are about the election results, right? Like, what is this all selling us? Trump is mad as fuck. He wants these people to stop certifying the vote so that he can retain his position as president.
I mean, yeah, I wouldn't disagree with that.
Which is a coup.
I don't think that makes it a coup. I think that a coup is a very strong term.
Yeah, I agree. But what Trump did was probably the worst thing that any president, save for maybe, I guess, the Civil War, has probably done to the American people in U.S. history.
If you looked into FDR, jeez. I think what FDR did was way worse. But
what did FDR do to coup the government?
I didn't coup the government, just I don't like FDR. I won't get
not liking FDR is different than did somebody try to coup the government or subvert the peaceful transfer of power. Yeah.
I know. This is an aside. Do I think he intentionally tried to, but that's it comes down always, like I said, when I kept using the word solipsism, it was for a purpose. It's because I think you have to prove intent.
You do.
And proving intent in a court of law is it does happen all the time, but it's very difficult.
It's not.
You're going to have to, it is.
You can prove it with circumstantial evidence.
Circumstantial evidence is circumstantial. You're going to have to prove intent.
What do you think DNA evidence is? DNA evidence of a crime is circumstantial evidence. Or is circumstantial evidence. What do you mean? We prove intent all the time. Yeah.
No. Let me put it this way, right? So I watch true crime stuff all the time because I'm a woman, obviously. So I was watching this case the other day that I had heard about before, where this girl who had been horribly abused by her mother went and hooked up with some dude on the internet, and then they killed her mom together, right? The way that you have to prove intent in that case is that you go through and find all these DMs between them saying, I want you to kill my mom.
No.
That's a really easy way to prove intent.
You don't need a confession. That's a silver bullet, but you don't need a confession to prove intent. That would be an extraordinarily lucky find. Mm-hmm. But I mean, like, we can look at Trump's actions. He's watching the riot break out. He hears that Ashley Babbitt gets shot. It's delivered in a little piece of paper that he lets sit on his desk. He's not doing anything to stop it, and all he's doing while the riot is unfolding is continuing to try to subvert the electoral process to hold on to power. That is a coup. The Capitol building, where the election is being certified, is literally under attack by people. He's not doing anything to stop the process. If anything, he's trying to capitalize on the chaos by getting people to delay the certification of the vote. That is a coup. It's an attempted coup.
I think using the word coup is dangerous.
Why?
However,
I think what Trump did is dangerous, and I think people trying to make excuses for him is dangerous. This is an attempted coup.
Maybe you're right. Because I see what you're saying, and I agree with the premise of it. However, I think that it does require some mind reading. I do think it requires some mind reading. What
would we need to show that Trump's goal was to coup the government? Besides a confession, or do you need a confession?
I need a confession. So I think I need a confession.
That's it. So in any other criminal case, would you require this standard of evidence? You need a confession.
Good question. I might probably not.
Why would this be the only criminal case in all of U.S. history where we need a confession to prove state of mind?
Okay, good question. That's where I would want it to be. I would want a confession from it.
So then, as the president, you can try to coup the government over and over again, but as long as you don't confess to it, then nobody can ever catch you on it or charge you with it, or...
No, it's not what I'm saying. No, I think you're right. That was a good point. I think... oh, thank you. My husband brought me some cheese. I think we probably need to... Yeah, that's probably that is unfair, because no one else would be held to that standard. That is the standard that I'm holding Trump to, and so that is unfair. Yep.
I feel like
hang on, I came into here to have my mind changed, man.
That's fine.
Like I said.
Okay. I'm curious then. Okay, so then outside of this, this was an attempted coup. It's pretty obvious. I think that his actions on the 6th
Again, I disagree with the terminology.
What would you describe? Okay, how would you describe the attempted disruption of the peaceful transfer of power?
I think it was libertas. It was people feeling as if their liberty had been violated. No, I'm talking about
Donald Trump specifically, not a protester.
Trump, okay, not the protesters. Donald Trump specifically. Oh, well, Trump is an opportunist, so yeah, I think he
he used the opportunity to coup the government. But it wasn't just an opportunity. He created this opportunity, right? He took advantage of the opportunity that he created. We said that all the people were there because of Trump. He asked them to go there to protest. Then he brought them to a speech, and then he riled them all up, and then he sent them all down to the courthouse.
I don't think he sent them there, though. I think you'd be very hard-pressed to try and find direct evidence that he sent them there to overthrow the government. That's what I think.
Said we need to fight like hell. We need to keep our government. They're going to take it from you.
But I can send you a clip of 20 different Democrats saying fight like hell.
We're not talking about 20 different Democrats, though. If you want to say Trump tried to coup the government and then Democrats did too, we can move to the Democrats as well.
You're saying the phraseology, fight like hell.
No, I'm not.
Indictment.
I'm not just saying the one phrase, fight like hell. It was an hour-long speech. In the entirety of the speech, he talked about how the election had been rigged and stolen, that we're losing our country, that Republicans weren't doing what was necessary, that Pence hopefully stood up for the country, did what he needed to do, that we need to keep fighting, we're going to lose our country, they're stealing it from you. All of this stuff that was said. The fight like hell thing doesn't actually even matter. It's not even the most important part of the speech. The whole speech was him talking about
what? It keeps being brought up in the legal arguments. It keeps being brought up. The fight like hell thing keeps being brought up in the legal arguments.
No, I don't think so. The legal arguments doesn't rely on
make it important.
The legal argument doesn't rely on fight like hell at all. It relies on all the other circumstantial around this. That like
well, there's more than it, obviously, but I do every time I've looked at any of these documents, which hasn't been sporadic to be fair. I've seen the fight like hell thing brought up over and over, that this was a direct incitement to violence.
No, none of the indictments are trying to charge him with incitement. That's not. None of the indictments are looking at inciting to a riot or anything.
It was initially. It's not now.
I'm not aware of any charges relating to incitement to riot.
In terms of. It wasn't in the actual indictment, but it was part of the argumentation.
Oh, somebody might have argued. I'm just going by the legal, like the indictments that were
right. No, it's not. It's not in the actual charges, but it's in the legal argumentation. Now, I don't know if I haven't kept up on all the cases since then, but it's part of their argument, or it was. Maybe they've dropped it. Like I said, I haven't heard it recently because I think that they know that it's a losing argument. The fight like hell thing is a losing argument.
It's not just the fight like hell thing though. It's all of the other parts of the speech and everything else.
I got you. Yeah.
I mean, like the false electors, him trying to delay the certification of the vote, begging Pence, like all of this plays into the same scheme of like trying to delay the certification of the vote.